Hey guys, it's Alec here. So today we're going to be doing something a bit different. All of my videos on Rogue Saloon up until this point have basically just been me playing games on live stream, which is cool, but it's not the most entertaining thing for everyone in the world, and it wasn't really my goal when I started Rogue Saloon. I mean, it was a bit, and I'm definitely going to keep doing videos like that. However, I also wanted to educate people as well as just entertain. So this is going to be a new tutorial series on how to emulate games on your PC, on your desktop PC. So this is quite a broad topic and something I've been doing for years and years and years. So this is going to be pretty much an easy to get into beginner's guide on how to start doing this stuff. So this tutorial will just cover the basics of setting up and show you how to set up a single emulator, which is the DOS emulator. So I guess we're going to get straight into it. Okay, so one of the first things you want to do is install an application called LaunchBox. This is basically like a platform that you will launch and manage all of your emulators from. The comparison I usually like to make is a bit like Steam for emulators. So it's a pretty cool thing. So you can download this from the official website, which is here. And you can give them your email address here, and then they'll send you a download link. Or if you don't want to give your email address away, which is understandable I guess, it can also be downloaded from here, majorgeeks.com, files, details, LaunchBox, or you can just type in LaunchBox download and you'll probably find it pretty easily as well. So the latest version as of writing this was 5.1. Or as of recording this, I should say. But yeah. So LaunchBox 5.1. So once you've installed that, just a standard Windows installer, you'll have LaunchBox installed in your system. It comes with some emulators already pre-packed. One of these is a DOS emulator, and the other one is a ScumVM. So the ScumVM is more complex. We'll cover a ScumVM in a later video. Right now, we'll focus on the DOS emulator, which is one of the more difficult emulators to set up and play with, to be perfectly honest. But it comes packed with LaunchBox, so that's why I just chose to start this series with that, as opposed to like a PlayStation emulator. So you've got a clean install LaunchBox here on your desktop. So we open up LaunchBox, it will do this. It might come up with a tip screen, which I've already disabled. And then it will come up with this, add games. I've got a couple of games here. DOS games that I'm going to install. There's loads of websites where you can get DOS games free, and reasonably legally in a lot of cases. If you're stuck for any sort of places to get games from, I'm not going to tell you where you can get these from. But if you're stuck, then just type download ROMs, or just simply ROMs, into Google. You'll find a whole ton of places. So, yeah. It's reasonably easy to get this stuff. However, obviously, if you want to rip it from your original CD, or floppy, or whatever the hell you've got, that's also totally fine, but realistically it's just quicker to download them. So we're going to open up LaunchBox and install an MS-DOS game. So let's start by typing the name of your game. The first one I'm going to install is Prince of Persia. So this is the original Prince of Persia from 1989. Now it's also worth noting, with some games that you can install through DOS, there's often, in some cases, better ways of playing them. Like, I'm not entirely sure if the DOS version of Prince of Persia is really a best way to experience the original Prince of Persia. This is definitely the case for the other three games we are going to install. The DOS version is pretty much the only version, and definitely a superior version. But for Prince of Persia, that's not necessarily the case. There are a couple of big popular DOS games, which there are definitely better ways of playing than through Dosbox, and hence why I'm not trying to show you how to install those games. So there will be more, games like Discworld and Leisure Suit Larry, for example. There'll be more in games like that in the future. That's essentially what the Scum VM does. So right now, we're just going to install Prince of Persia. So we've got our MS-DOS games here, right? Which is cool. So we probably want to go into the LaunchBox directory and go into the games directory, which may or may not be created. You may need to create it. And then you want to create another directory called MS-DOS. It's important you call it MS-DOS like that. Then you want to copy your DOS game that you want to install over. Install an MS-DOS game. So the game is Prince of Persia. Now, for most games that you download, you'll want to use this option up here. There are cases where you may need to actually install it. But for most games that you'll download from the internet, you want to use this top option. And find the place where you put it. Find the exe for the game. So it describes it here as usually a shortened version. Double click. Next. Finish. And then you want to press search for metadata at the top. Find your game. Download the pictures for it and stuff. And I think I just downloaded them all twice, so that's inconvenient. There we go. Press OK. Now we double click on this, it should load up the game. Okay, so this is Prince of Persia. It's pretty terrible, but this is it here. Right, so usually if you quit the game through the menus, that will generally close it, but I'm not entirely sure how to do it with this game. So a quick hint, you can kill Dosbox completely with Control F9. And now close it down properly and bring you back to LaunchBox. With DOTS games, you usually want to set them up as well. So, if we edit and go to the additional apps, add an application called Setup, and choose the setup of the DOTS game. Press OK. Press OK. Now, if we choose Setup, we should be able to configure things like our Sound Blaster options and the resolution. This is the highest resolution. I think 320 by 200 is the highest resolution available for it. So that's the one we'll go with. It is theoretically possible to get this working with an Xbox controller or any other controller you like. I think I'm probably going to cover Xbox controllers in Dosbox in another video because it's a little more complex. I'll probably have another video discussing the guts of Dosbox later on. So generally speaking, you want a Sound Blaster for both of your settings here, audio settings. Exit to DOTS, yes. And then that will close that. So most DOTS games are easy enough to set up like that. Okay, so the Daggerfall installation is reasonably similar to a Prince of Persia one, just to show you just how similar most things are. We'll install the other games I have on my desktop as well. So we just copy a game over, rename it to something sensible. Spaces are allowed here, by the way. Then we go to Tools, Install DOS Game. This is the easiest way to do it. Give it a name like Daggerfall. Find the game. In this case, it's dagger.exe. Finish. You want to search metadata. Then you'll download the images and stuff. Download. Add the setup application. You'll probably want to do this for most DOS games in reality, add a setup application. I mean, just lets you configure it properly. Make sure you use DOSBox is ticked. Okay. Okay. Here it is. Now, there's something quite game specific for Daggerfall. So, the setup application will run just fine. So we'll go into the setup application. You want to choose Sound Blaster Pro in most scenarios with default
Rest
settings.
well this night, for tomorrow you sail for the kingdom of Daggerfall.
And Sound Blaster Pro again. Okay, no video settings in here, so that's fine. Now, if we try and play Daggerfall from here, it won't actually work. And the reason for that is because of something quite game specific. And this is why I mean some MS-DOS games are more complex than maybe some other platforms. So, what's actually wrong here is it's trying to reference a subdirectory. So it's trying to reference a subdirectory called Dagger. We could theoretically get around it by moving the whole game into something called Dagger, but it's easier just to edit the config file to just use the root directory. That won't mess anything up. This is a very game specific thing, and basically if you're getting errors with your game running, just Google it and you'll probably figure out the fix. And now Daggerfall loads up properly. Okay, so we've installed Prince of Persia and Daggerfall. Now we're going to install this old Godfather game, which is a shooter from the early 90s based on the Godfather movies. Not to be confused with the obviously much newer Godfather game. So we'll do this the same way. The Godfather. Next. I'm gonna guess is this one. So we search the metadata. We're looking for the DOTS game, if it's anywhere here. I think. It's probably the same as the Amiga one, to be perfectly honest. We're looking for a DOTS version of it. This gives the right information. In this scenario, and only in this scenario, I'm going to choose the Amiga version. Because there's actually a box out for it. However, I'm going to leave the platform as MS-DOS. Because it wasn't really finding a very good match. Sometimes you have to do that in LaunchBox. It's generally pretty good. So we'll press OK. There was no additional setup application. So now I'm betting if we run this, hopefully the game should load up. So here's the setup right now. So we're going to press X for Sound Blaster. Again, we'll talk about controllers and joysticks in DOSBox at a later date. So the last one, a reasonably popular game from Bullfrog that I have on here, is Magic Carpet 2. We're going to add this in exactly the same way we've added all the other ones. So, tools, install, Magic Carpet 2, yes it's in a folder, this is actually the exe for Magic Carpet 2, we're going to search. There we go. Boom. And this one does have a setup, like most DOS games do. Setup. In this case, the setup says batch file. Use DOSBox. Okay. We probably want to run this first. The setup first. And like most of them, just choose Sound Blaster Pro. If Sound Blaster Pro is somewhat not... Oh wait, it's here. Okay, never mind. I was going to say if Sound Blaster Pro is somehow not available, then just choose Sound Blaster. Should be totally fine now. Done. Okay.
When you are a wizard trapped in...
It's trying to use a joystick. We can fix that by going to Tools, Edit Dosbox Configuration. And setting this to none. We'll talk about adding joystick support later, but generally speaking you will get better compatibility for DOS games if you set the joystick support to none and set the joystick support that you actually need on a game-by-game basis. Basically what I have covered here is the basics of how to install MS-DOS games on your computer through LaunchBox. So we've got 4 MS-DOS games and they're all working reasonably fine. There will be a follow-up video to this on how to do MS-DOS games in more depth using the custom emulator as well as... So when I say custom emulator I mean custom fork of the emulator, which was DOSBox X. That might be expanded to cover things like Windows 98 games as well, and I will also go into controller support for DOS games, but they are the basics of how to install DOS games using LaunchBox. So now we've got LaunchBox set up. I'll see you in the next tutorial, which will be on PlayStation games. So until next time, I've been Alec. This has been something a bit new. Go check out all the other videos on roguesaloon.tech and have fun playing your games. And obviously any questions or anything, ask me in the comments somewhere, or send me an email at alec@roguesaloon.tech, or don't. I don't really check that very often, but definitely I'll answer you if you send in the comments or whatever. And yeah, that's been it for today, I guess, with how to install DOS games through LaunchBox.